When Steph Curry first stepped onto an NBA court, few imagined that a slender guard barely over 6 feet would bend the game to his will. Yet, over the years, he's turned impossible threes into routine plays, sent defenses scrambling into panic, and introduced a swagger that made every bucket feel like a mic drop. His style didn't just win games, it reshaped how basketball is played and watched across the world. From silent assassin to showman, Curry's journey is packed with moments that left opponents humiliated and fans in awe. Hit like and subscribe, and let's unpack how one player rewrote basketball's entire script. When Steph Curry entered the league in 2009 as the 7th overall pick, he was not the chest-thumping, shimmy-shaking superstar we know today. His celebrations were minimal, a point to the sky after a made bucket, a quiet nod to his mom and Faith. He was a shooter, yes, but one who carried himself like a respectful guest in the NBA's house. That all changed on February 27, 2013, inside basketball's cathedral, Madison Square Garden. The Golden State Warriors were in town, and the Knicks had no idea they were about to get front-row seats to the birth of a villain. Steph did not just get hot, he turned volcanic. Step-backs, pull-ups, contested daggers, he poured in 54 points with the swagger of someone who knew he was untouchable that night. Then came the shimmy, the look-away release. Little flashes of arrogance that told the league this was a new version of Curry. The transformation didn't end there. A few months later, in the playoffs against the Denver Nuggets, Steph's confidence became pure theater. Mid-shot turnarounds, follow-throughs dropped early, barking at the bench before the ball even splashed. Curry wasn't just beating them, he was making sure they felt it. Oakland's baby-faced assassin wasn't just a nickname anymore. It was a warning label. That stretch turned Curry from a promising shooter into a cultural moment in motion. The man who used to quietly point upward after a three was now putting defenders on highlight reels and fans in meme folders. From that point on, Steph wasn't just playing basketball, he was performing it. After Curry's Garden breakout and playoff theatrics, the Warriors knew they had something special, but they hadn't yet figured out how to fully unleash it. Then came the era of Steve Kerr in 2014, a 5-time NBA champion as a player who brought a blueprint that would turn Golden State into a basketball revolution. Kerr didn't just tweak plays, he rewired the team's DNA. The offense stretched the floor like never before, spacing so wide it felt like the court had grown an extra few feet. Curry was no longer just a weapon. He was the system's central engine. Off-ball movement, lightning-quick ball swings, and green lights from well beyond the arc. Suddenly, Steph's greatest gift had room to breathe and burn. That first year under Kerr wasn't without questions. Could a jump-shooting team really win it all? The critics lined up, waiting for the offense to crumble under playoff pressure. Instead, the opposite happened. The Warriors cut through the postseason with surgical precision. Curry shredded defenses, pulling big men into no man's land and punishing every late rotation. In the 2015 NBA Finals, the Warriors faced LeBron James and the Cavaliers. When the series tilted against them, Kerr made the bold move to start Andre Iguodala, tilting the matchups in Golden State's favor. The result? A 4-2 series win, the franchise's first title in 40 years, and Stephen Curry was named the NBA's most valuable player for the 2014 to 2015 regular season. This was not just a championship. It was proof that the Warriors' new style and Steph's brand of basketball could dominate at the highest level. And from there on, the dynasty was officially in motion. Fresh off an MVP season and his first ring, Curry entered the 2015 NBA Finals ready to prove the Warriors' title run was no fluke. But midway through the series, the narrative shifted. The Cavaliers' gritty backup guard, Matthew Dellavedova, had been tasked with shadowing Steph, and for a couple of games, it worked well enough for the media to crown him the Curry Stopper. That label hit Curry like a slap in the face. Game 5 in Cleveland became his personal rebuttal. Steph didn't just outplay Dellavedova, he dismantled the entire notion, dropping 37 points with a mix of deep threes, slick drives, and his signature smirk. Every bucket came with a little extra flair, from his classic skyward point to a full-on mean mug at the crowd. The stopper talk evaporated in real time, but that wasn't the only thing fueling him. Teammate Andre Iguodala later revealed that Curry had a habit of scrolling through Twitter at halftime, not to check his mentions for fun, but to find every critical comment he could. The hate became jet fuel. If someone doubted him, they might as well have just added 3 points to his second half total. This habit helped explain one of the Warriors' most underrated weapons, their third-quarter dominance. Curry came out of the locker room like a man on a mission, burying teams before they could blink. In 26 games that season, Golden State led so big after the third that Steph didn't even need to play the fourth. The message was clear: poke the bear, and the bear starts raining threes. If the Curry stopper talk was fuel, then the 2015-16 season was an unstoppable blaze. Curry didn't just respond, he went nuclear. The Warriors stormed through the regular season to a 73-9 record, the best in NBA history, and Steph became the first unanimous MVP in league history. No arguments, no doubts. Everyone knew he was the best. But with greatness came backlash. Curry's deep-range barrage, pull-up threes in transition, and willingness to launch from anywhere rewrote basketball's geography. Young players everywhere were skipping layup lines to practice 30-footers. Kids in gyms from Oakland to overseas were trying no-look releases before they could make a free throw. It wasn't just the next generation. NBA teams started mimicking Golden State's blueprint. Spacing, pace, and threes became the new gospel. With analytics backing the math, mid-range shots were vanishing. For purists, this wasn't evolution, it was extinction. Some fans and even former players claimed Steph had ruined basketball, reducing the artistry of the game to a three-point contest. Curry heard the noise, but he never backed down. Instead, he leaned harder into his flashy, fearless game. The shimmy became his signature, the early turnaway before the shot fell his trademark. Every deep three was equal parts spectacle and statement. The criticism missed 1 point. This wasn't just about flashy tricks. Steph's game was the product of skill, work, and vision that defenses still couldn't solve. Whether fans loved it or hated it, one fact was undeniable. Curry had changed basketball forever, and there was no going back. By the time the ruined basketball talk faded, Steph had seen it all. The historic 73-win season without a title, the crushing 3-1 finals collapse, KD's arrival and exit, injuries, and the growing doubts that his era was over. The question wasn't, how great is Steph? Anymore, it was, is Steph still great? In 2022, he answered. After beating Ray Allen's all-time three-point record and shaking off a late-season injury, Curry led a Warriors team that many had written off back to the NBA Finals. Against the Boston Celtics, the series was physical, chippy, and packed with doubt from the outside. But Steph was locked in, not just to win another ring, but to grab the one piece of hardware missing from his resume. Finals MVP. Game 4 in Boston was the turning point. Curry dropped a scorching 43 points, silencing the crowd and the critics in one night. By Game 6, the outcome was inevitable. Late in the fourth, after burying Boston's hopes, Steph debuted his new calling card, the Night-Night Celebration. A simple hand gesture, but an unmistakable message. When the buzzer sounded, Curry had 34 points, a fourth championship, and finally, the Finals MVP trophy in his hands. The Night-Night went viral, crossing into every sport and level of play. It wasn't just a celebration, it was a statement. After years of questions, Curry had tucked the doubters in for good. And there it is, the story of how Steph Curry went from an underestimated rookie to the face of a basketball revolution. He proved that range can beat size, finesse can humble power, and confidence can be just as lethal as skill. Along the way, he turned celebrations into statements and turned critics into witnesses. Love him or not, his fingerprints are all over today's NBA, from youth leagues to the pros. But here's the question. Do you think his influence made the game better or pushed it in the wrong direction? Drop your thoughts below, hit like and subscribe, and tap the bell for more game-changing stories. See you next time.